AST Rink Report. Tom Gazzola and Derek Van Diest from NHL.com at Rogers Place, where the newest member of the Edmonton Oilers, number 90 in orange and blue, Cory Perry, is on the ice with his new team. DVD, you and I remember the days when he was rumored to be coming to the Oilers from Mike Comrie.
Yep.
That didn't happen. We all know the details there. Comrie didn't want to give up his bonus money to get traded, and Perry went on to win a Stanley Cup, go to the Stanley Cup final a bunch of times. He's an Oiler now. What are your initial thoughts on that?
Well, I got a sense that they would go after him once Perry was released from the Chicago Blackhawks, depending on what exactly happened in Chicago. We don't really know the details of what happened in Chicago, but it wasn't criminal. It was a team violation, whatever the team rules were. So I thought, whatever their standards were, he obviously broke them, but he was still allowed to play in the league. And I thought, you know what, he could actually be a pretty good fit in Edmonton if they could go get him. They need that type of grind and grit, and they need a guy like that to be a pain in the butt for other teams. And they really haven't had a guy like that you just want to hate. And he's a guy that you hate when he plays against you, but you love to have on your team. And Cory Perry was 20 years removed from coming to the Edmonton Oilers. That trade was actually pretty much consummated. And then Mike Comrie didn't want to give back the bonus, and so the trade was off the table. But I think he will help this team. He will bring that grit, and obviously the leadership group had to agree to it. I don't think they would have brought him in had they not consulted Connor McDavid and Darnell Nurse and Leon Draisaitl and those guys. And they probably thought, hey, bring him in. We'd rather have him on our side than be playing against him in the playoffs. And I think that's a big bonus for the Edmonton Oilers.
He's a guy who hasn't played in a while. Obviously, all the stuff that happened in Chicago and him being let go from his contract. What kind of impact can he make after missing so much time, even though he was putting together a pretty decent season down in Chicago?
Yeah, well, he hasn't played a lot, but I'm sure he's been on the ice. I'm sure he's been skating. I'm sure he knew that he was going to get another opportunity to play in the NHL, that whatever happened in Chicago, that wasn't going to be his last kick at the can. He still has some hockey in him. He's still an effective player. We've seen that. There's a reason teams he plays on go far in the playoffs. They go to the Stanley Cup final. So I think he does bring a lot of value to an organization. He can bring a lot of value to a team. So I think he's a guy that can really be that grinder type guy in your fourth line that can contribute offensively. He's going to score some goals for you. He's going to make some plays for you, and he's going to upset some players, some opponents for you as well.
How about the Oilers? Second chances is a theme that this organization has had basically since the beginning. We've seen guys come through here, get second chances, have success, establish long, storied careers. This is a guy that's already going to be probably a Hall of Famer, Stanley Cup champion, Olympic gold champion. What do you think of the Oilers giving him this second shot and letting him redeem himself?
Well, I think you got to give players an opportunity to redeem themselves, and I think the Oilers have done that. Like you look at Evander Kane, that might have been his last chance coming here, and it's worked out really well. He's redeemed himself. He realizes, okay, this is my last chance. I can't mess this up. I want to make the most of it, and he has. And I'm sure you're looking at Cory Perry. He's going, this is my last kick at the can, maybe, to try and win a Stanley Cup. I'm coming to a team that's won 13 in a row, that's playing great hockey. I'm going to do whatever I can to get there to win that Stanley Cup. So I think coming in here, this is not really to me, not a huge chance that the Oilers are taking. I think the money is right.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, they just say thanks for your time, Cory. See you later. But I really get a sense that this will work out well for the Edmonton Oilers.
This is an Oilers team that's rattled off 13 straight wins. That's a Canadian franchise record in the National Hockey League. Obviously, an Oilers record. Where does he fit in on this lineup? Where could you see him really finding some chemistry and meshing with some guys?
Well, it'll be interesting to see where they play him. They'll probably play him obviously on the bottom two lines, whether he takes a spot from Connor Brown or he takes from Matt Ernie, Sam Gagner, where he fits in there, see what kind of chemistry he has with some of those bottom line guys. But I think he's a guy you can move up and down the lineup. I think he's a guy, he's savvy enough, he's been around the league enough, he can get up and down the lineup and he'll make it work with whoever he's playing with. Everyone knows his style of game. He's hard to the net, hard-nosed, maybe borderline dirty.
No, he's dirty. He's dirty. Let's not kid ourselves.
Okay, so, he's in there. So he's going to do that. He's going to do that for that team regardless of what line he's on.
Okay, this Oilers team adds a Cory Perry. They just get Dylan Holloway back. He played center the other night on the fourth line. Looked pretty good. I know it was his first game back since, mid-November. But where do you think Ken Holland looks next when he wants to tinker this lineup moving forward towards the trade deadline, when he really wants to turn this into a cup contender?
Well, I think now you're looking at, your goaltending is working out. You're working out better than maybe you thought. So you don't necessarily need to go get a goalie. Like even your backup's working out. Calvin Pickard's working out well as a backup. So are you content with those two? I think Stuart Skinner has taken his game to another level, and I think we're going to see it stay there. Defensively, they got some pretty good defensemen going. They're obviously they haven't given up a goal, more than 2 goals a game, and then like 11 in a row, I think it is. So, so they're getting things done defensively. By all accounts, Philip Broberg is playing very well in the American Hockey League right now. So he's a guy that you can bring up if you need another depth guy. So I'm looking at, if I'm Ken Holland, going, okay, maybe I can get another impact player for my top 2 lines. Maybe I can get a guy that can score some goals on my top 2 lines. So if you just limit yourself to, like, there's always a list of things that you want at the trading deadline, but I think right now maybe that's the priority. Maybe a top 6 forward that can help you get over the hump.
DVD, we'll see where this all goes, but Cory Perry, a member of the Edmonton Oilers, crazy to say it, 21 years later now. That is your EST Rink report. Big thank you to Derek Van Diest from NHL.com, as Cory Perry is an Edmonton Oiler.